Hello, my name is Sabina Curtasio, and I was working on the SCOPE VR portion of SCOPE, learning with augmented and virtual reality. So this is the VR project, and in terms of shortcomings, it may be more on the wish list side of things. We have a couple UI UX design implementations that could greatly, improve the experience of this project, but also a few things that are necessary to meet the goals and objectives of the project. So if we're going to start out, we can go ahead and click on any of the diagrams will do, but I clicked on the sun diagram. And if we use our mouse, we can, pretty easily change the seasons, change the time. It's not too much of an issue. So it's pretty compatible whether you're on a mouse and keyboard on a computer or whether you're using a headset. Not a big deal. You can use your keys to revolve like we are right now. But I think this UI is a little misleading because you do see two arrows to your left and right. And if you're on a computer, you'd be very tempted to click them. They are not clickable. So I think that's a pretty, straightforward change that could make a pretty big impact. If we go ahead and return now, so we do have diagrams scattered throughout almost the entire building, but I think a big plus could be one to make sure that we have our Excel sheets filled out with the correct data. So when we hover over some of these elements, right now they're saying no for their sizes. Some inside do have the sizes updated. So we want consistency throughout that and make sure that also, even though we did get some of these things to display, that they're displaying nicely as well, not just displaying to display. So if I go ahead and click on this wall, that is not, oh, there it is, unhide. So yeah, this is kind of where we're getting at, making sure that it's really easy for the user to interact with this, whether they're on a computer or not. So let's go outside really fast and unhide this element, come back inside, and if we hover over this wall now, this hovering green wall, and we click it, now this wall can appear, right? So these things should be kind of independent of one another, but right now they're dependent. If one wall is unhidden, this one has to show. So some of these components do return their sizes. As you can see, it's on top of a white background, so you lose some of the information. So making sure that all of this is updated. So whether you're inside or outside, you are getting the specs for some of these tools. The next biggest thing, we can actually exit this one, would be to implement the pin drops. So these little pin drops are actually supposed to be mapped to lesson plans. So when the professor decides to give us like either a written response or some kind of article, these pin drops should be updated to reflect those assignments. So that's really, really important considering this is a learning tool. So that's the next biggest feature that should be implemented in the coming semesters.